go. Okay, welcome back to Lemon Drops Podcast. I am your co-host, Nicholas.
I'm your co-host, TJ.
And today is the first time we've ever had people on the podcast. Everyone else was robots, I'm sorry to say.
This is the second time we've had brothers on the podcast.
Yes, we have had brothers on the podcast. Not our brothers. Not our brothers. We've had your brother on.
We've had mine.
But these two guys are brothers. And their names, one of them, the elder one, his name is
my name is James Grimshaw.
wow.
That's a beautiful name.
That's
it really is.
poetic.
Do you want the middle name too?
If you really feeling
No,
spicy.
I need to keep that like hidden for the
secret,
hackers
yeah.
that are going to listen to your show. So
Yeah, hecklers, because we have that many fans.
hackers use
Oh,
all my
hackers.
personal information to steal my data. That's why I have LifeLock Ultimate, and you should buy it.
Okay, now we'll go around and say our social security number.
And then we also have another one. We have another one. His name is...
Matt.
I love that name.
Beautiful.
Short and simple.
Short and to the point, just like me.
No.
No,
Liar.
I'm looking at you guys, and I come in, I'm like, dang, I'm a midget.
Yep.
Hey, but
You
there's
should-
nothing wrong with midgets, though.
Where does that put me?
In Coolville. you get to be in Coolville.
No, like, if he's a midget, then I'm like,
A mega midget or something.
Mega midget. Wait, does that mean like you're tall?
Mini midget.
A mini midget seems just like a child.
Is that like a canceled word? I thought it was a canceled word I shouldn't be using.
A double negative.
Well, no. Saying midget, I think that's now considered a bad word.
Is it actually?
Well,
Yeah,
good thing.
What has
I think
society come to?
You're supposed to call them short people.
Hey! You're a midget woman. Oh, get absolutely insulted by today's standards.
Wait, why women?
Because you're not
Midget
supposed to say genders or something like gender assumption.
I think, but they still have men and women on like the bathroom things.
How dare they assume that I?
Yeah, but
That
you
I-
can go in whatever when you want. Now in California, it doesn't matter.
They were like,
No one's gonna ask.
hey yo. There was
Why don't they just put bathroom?
okay. I went shopping yesterday at a mall,
Did
and I
you
went.
really?
No,
I knew it.
no, I went shopping yesterday at the mall, and I went to Holsters, and they have a changing room, and it says, there's a sign on the door. It says, beyond this point, clothes are optional. Optional. Clothes are optional beyond this point. And I'm like, that's hilarious. And then I stole the sign. No, I didn't. I should have, though. And then I should have put it over my bedroom door.
Put that on your door before they walk in.
That's...
No, you definitely should not. Do that.
No, but then you also have a sign that says... Oh, wait, no, that's not going to work. I was going to say you have a sign that says like a men's restroom sign. But I was like, wait, no. No. And then it says one only. Boom. Now I fixed all of the problems. We have coffee now. This is also our second episode in the new studio. Feeling very fancy. Uh-huh.
Speaking of second, I wasn't even here for the first episode.
Yeah, because you
I
were
was here.
stinking loser, being charitable person, helping kids, poor kids in Detroit. You buffoon.
Yeah, I know, that was my bad.
what were you doing in Detroit?
I helped out a Bible camp that they do there every year.
Who's they?
Youth.
A bunch of random people. I'm not random. The Woodlawn Youth, a lot of them went, or not, quite a bit of them went, 10 or 12. And then there's a bunch of people from, a bunch of different people from a bunch of different places. One person from Canada, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Puerto Rico, Georgia. There's about 35, there's about 40, 43 people in all. Like, that includes, the people that put it on. And they have a school there in Detroit that
School? I'm against that.
is where
I'm against
everyone
learning.
meets up and stuff. And then there's a couple local people there that help out. It was really fun.
Detroit seems cool.
So is Detroit what I've heard it is? I'm like a sheltered homeschooler. It's only been to Detroit.
Dude, same.
We're going to the airport. So is it like the bombed out city that has been abandoned by the unions?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's completely abandoned. We weren't in the city. We were kind of. I mean, it's Detroit, but it's I don't know if it was down. It was not we were quite far away from actual big buildings. There's a bunch of it's kind of like a
The slums.
kind of, but not. But it wasn't that bad. I mean, a lot of the houses were trashy.
Kind of like
But like, it wasn't absolutely terrible.
Elkhart level, trashy.
I haven't been to Elkhart in a while.
Yeah.
I've been in Detroit more
It
recently
is.
than I've been to
I think-
Elkhart.
From what I've seen one picture, and I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. It's basically kind of like Elkhart.
It's not terrible. There's a lot of trash there. I mean, there's a lot.
I mean,
more,
of course you were there, TJ.
There's a lot more crime there.
Wasn't it Gary, Indiana, that had the highest crime rate out of any town in the U.S.?
Yeah, for a while. I'm not sure who took it. I'm guessing it's probably LA or something like that.
No, it's me. I took that. I'm the most.
I took
Crime.
that title.
But they're. If you stopped at stop signs there, like cops would tell you to like no, just go through them because then there's like that high of a chance that you'll just get mugged at a stoplight.
Lock your doors.
Mm-mm.
Bulletproof glass.
Speaking of locking your doors, want to hear a crazy story?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So my sister and her husband, they're out like on vacation out east somewhere. I'm not even sure what state.
Oh.
And they were staying in a cabin, and they left their car doors unlocked, like Airbnb or something like that.
Uh-oh.
And a stinking bear opened the door, got in their car, and was like rooting around, and decided it wanted some pills. So there was like it had some like medication or something like that.
It's medication time.
It literally grabbed the medication and took it out of the car, dumped it, and then took off. So yeah, they had a bear in their car.
That's incredible. See, I'm now terrified of bears, and I think they're going to take over the world. We must kill them all, make them extinct.
Speaking of unlocked doors, in Florida, my cousin bought a new truck, and we were, I think, hanging out. No, I don't know what he was doing. This was before. I think he left his car unlocked in his driveway, and then he got robbed.
Like his truck got stole.
No. I don't think the keys were inside this car, but I think it was unlocked, and it like took. I think his wallet was in there, and a couple of things that they took.
I see.
In his driveway?
I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe it might have been at work.
Fake news. Crime doesn't happen. It's fake.
Oh,
It's fake news deployed by the government.
to scare us.
We are woke
Conspiracy
here.
these theories.
I deny that. I take that back. We're not. But we are not.
For those that don't know what woke means, wait, I know what that.
You're not asleep anymore. See, I'm homeschooled. I don't know. what
Sheeple.
the actual-
Okay,
actual
sheeple.
meaning is. I listen to Ben Shapiro. Believe me, I probably should know what woke is.
Oh, I went to Bible memory camp a few weeks ago, and I played Ben Shapiro while we were being mafia because, like, I put on a hat and I talked really fast and I said I was a Jew, and they're like, "You're Ben Shapiro." And I'm like, "I am now. Hello, how's it going? I am Ben Shapiro." It's funny. And then when they killed me in mafia, I called them Jew haters, and everyone laughed.
They were all a bunch of Hitlers.
I don't know if I'm gonna be invited to be a helper there.
Yeah, he was also telling them how to take drugs.
I explained to Twyla, one of the helpers there, his wife. I was telling her how to take heroin. You know, big heroin user I am.
This is why I got invited to Detroit to help out, and Nick did not. No, I'm kidding.
Bet.
I'm kidding.
Well, see now, but you have to know what you're dealing with up there because there's probably,
I smelled a lot of weed.
dude. How do you know what weed smells like?
Ah, they told me actually.
Wait, what? Dude, that you know that smell, bro? It's that dank kush.
We went on Sunday, like it was Monday through Friday, and on Sunday we went door to door and hang out invitations for like their kids to come to the Bible school thing.
Did you get shot?
No. And,
Aw.
like we did walk up to some houses and it just smelled like weed. But I mean, most of the people are actually pretty nice. There's a couple of them that just, a lot of them weren't home, or I guess just didn't answer. But only a couple of them answered the door and then rejected us immediately. But I think that has become they were Catholic or something. The one girl opened the door and pointed at a picture and was like no, and then left. So
What?
Like Hispanic or something. Or what?
maybe, probably Muslim. Or something.
Maybe,
I
probably.
don't really know.
Isn't there like tons of Muslims in Detroit? Like it's one of the
I think so.
centers in the U.S. for Muslims.
Muslims?
Yeah.
Muslim?
Muslim-
Icelandic
Do you
people.
see a lot of them up there?
I've seen a decent amount. Good chat.
I'm gonna stop eating so that I can talk when I want to. So basically, Matt, you're a I'd say still a new father. Would you say that?
Yo, you got the wrong name.
That's the right. Yep.
Yeah, Billy
Matt,
Bob James. Yeah,
James.
I am. Yes.
What? That's pretty incredible. you want to just elaborate on that? How was that? How was that pretty cool?
It's life changing. So there's like all these ideas I had when I was like single and everything. Like getting married, having a kid would be like overwhelming, all this. But like a day at a time, and like I don't know, I was like an adrenaline junkie so much of like later teenage years and stuff.
Mhm.
Like I would drive stupid and just do all kinds of dumb stuff that should have got me hurt and stuff just because it was fun. But now like that I'm married and have a little baby, like I don't know, I love my little kid, and it's kind of weird because I wasn't like, oh, I gotta love my kid. But yeah, she's awesome. She's so funny. Oh my goodness.
How old is she by now?
8 months and trying to talk and trying to walk. So it's
Same.
she's pretty crazy.
Been there,
That's
done
just,
that.
that's just me every day at this point. I just wake up and
Me
try
in
to
the-
walk and try to talk.
Me in the
That's-
morning.
I hate my job. It's annoying because my job pays way better than any other job could, and my boss will always like be like, "Oh yeah, where are you gonna go that pays this well?" I'm like, "Dang it, he got me."
That he's assuming though that you want money.
I do want money. He's assuming correctly.
Bummer.
I think. Okay, guys. Question for everyone: would you rather work at a job you hated but you got paid well and you're financially free, or work at a job you like, not love, you like that you enjoy, that's not, and then but you'd have to be a little bit tighter on the budget.
But does it pay the bills? Like, am I in
It'll,
debt?
it'll pay the bills.
I have to be a little bit tighter.
That's a good question.
Or third option, a job you absolutely love, but you have to have like a hobby. You have to have like another job.
Side hustle.
I think I'm in number 3 because like I've done the like RV factory stuff where you're making
You make
stupid
good
amount of
money.
really really good money, and not even like no college education, you'd make the money, but you are such a stinking robot, and like so many jobs are just robots.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a cog in the system. So now that I'm like independent, I can go to work at like 10, 11 o'clock. I can work till 5. I can work till 2. As long as my jobs get done in time.
That'd be really bad for me. It's 3 p.m. I guess I'll go to work. And it was like 3 a.m.
I'll
I'm
work
like,
on
"Dang
it tomorrow.
I won't do this again." And then the next day it's like 2 p.m. It's like, okay, time to go to work again. That's what my life's like.
I was pretty proud of myself this week. I actually made it to the job site before 7 o'clock. That's the first time I've done that in like 3 months.
That's incredible.
Like, seriously.
I've already been working for an hour by then. I hate my job. We're going to talk about how much I hate my job. Matt, what do you do for work?
I do woodworking, Yeah.
Oh, like what?
and I kind of got the option of I got a job that I like and it pays well.
Oh.
He got the best of both
Yeah.
worlds.
Yeah,
So what
I like it most of the time. There's some days.
See,
Sometimes we have to like travel, and I don't like staying overnight somewhere else in a hotel. But other than that, it's pretty good.
See, my job's kind of like the
It's a
opposite.
lot of fun.
My job's kind of like the opposite. I hate it most of the time, but sometimes I love it.
Really? Why? There's sometimes I love it. Like when we get.
I
like,
did.
Subway.
You were Subway. There's a Subway really close, and it's the only redeeming feature. But like, there. See, when TJ went to Detroit, I helped because he works. He helped someone there, and instead I helped him because he was gone, and I did TJ's job, and it was so stinking easy.
Then let's trade. I want to do your job.
The only problem is with your job is I can't always be wearing headphones. That's the only good thing about my job. I don't need anyone else's input. I can just work on my job for 6 hours, and then vabadoo. That's it. And then TJ's job is like, oh, you have to be always talking with this person, coordinating and doing all this other stuff. It's dumb. I don't like it. But it's easier than my job. We work at the same place.
You're introverted. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not introverted.
INF, or what was the...
INFP?
We were, in the
INFP.
pre-show, we were talking about the
That was, I don't know, but I am horribly extroverted. Like, it's not even right.
But only in some things. Like he can go up and talk to someone, but he
When
doesn't.
we went
like
to the
talking
fair,
To people.
I had 3 handshakes. One was from a cop. 23 fist bumps from random people. One was from a cop. And I think 3 earnest conversations and 2 new friends. Just
When
from
you went
random
to the
people.
fair?
Yeah,
How many times did you go?
twice.
Oh.
It was really cool.
So,
But, like,
okay,
in-
you're actually extroverted, but you don't like people.
I'm not
I'm so confused.
if
It is confusing.
I have my friends. My friends, they're my friends. I have a close group. Those are my best friends. Besides that, I don't really like. I don't care if it's like some random person I'm never gonna see. I'm like, I'll talk to you, do whatever. I don't care. But like if something that like, I don't want to have to work and build another relationship up. Like that's stupid. Like I'll do that if like the person's cool. No. This is now I sound like a bad person. I am. I'm a horrible person. Don't be friends with me. That's a joke. Be friends with
I'll
me. I'm
drink
lonely.
to that.
Water. No, it's vodka actually.
No, it's not.
Can you prove that wrong?
You have to trust me on that. I'm not an alcoholic.
Who trusts TJ? Raise your hand. That's a cup, not your hand.
Come on, James.
James.
I would never do it.
That's a cord, not your hand.
Well,
I mean, I trust
sure,
you.
Sure, cool. Yeah, I actually did some vodka, and I've been feeling really good tonight.
Yeah, vodka all the way, baby. I am 21. There's a skit I seen where these guys they walked into a gas station and they walked up to the cash, like there were two guys on top of each other, clearly in a suit coat and stuff with a big top hat, or not a top hat, but like a big hat, and they're like, it's like, I'll take your finest alcohol, please. And they're like, sir, how old are you? I was like, I'm 21. It was funny because they were being goofies. They're being pranksters. And I want to do that. I want to do that.
Funny.
TJ, just stop mocking me.
I was laughing.
Me and TJ, we need to do that. That'd be funny.
What?
Trench
Why?
coat and then try to get alcohol. Because it'd be funny.
Why?
Because it'd be funny, TJ.
It'd be funny if we like made fake IDs and tried getting alcohol.
But then we
Isn't
would
it, like,
succeed.
Technically like a felony, though.
Technically, a lot of things are felony, and you just gotta live life.
That's why
okay?
we go make friends with the cashier, ask if we can do it, and then have the whole thing staged.
You know,
But
so
that's
what
fake
works really
news.
good? If you have facial hair, they won't even ask you. Sometimes, like
I don't know.
if you have really good facial hair,
In Detroit,
big difference.
one of my kids, I was like that. Like
You have a kid?
we have a certain we have like 8 or 9 kids in our group, and one of them thought I was 29.
Ooh,
how old was this kid?
man.
8 or 9.
You should have bought
Yeah.
alcohol from him.
That's because that kid had it.
Well, it's the truth.
No, I know that because like I used to always buy ammo when I was underage.
Uh-oh.
Bought it all the time, but it worked a lot better if I had some of this growing out.
Did they ever catch you?
Not that I remember.
I mean,
I
but
feel like if you got caught, you would remember.
but like,
Yeah, I
like,
went to jail for a few nights.
if you ask, if you try to buy it and then you're not like old enough,
yeah, would they call
Well,
the cops on you?
won't they just tell you, oh, you're not old enough?
Yeah,
And you
if
can be
you're
like,
not
oh,
old enough, they won't.
oh, my bad, and then
Yeah.
just leave.
You won't get in trouble.
Oops, I forgot.
I didn't know that.
You have to be like 21 to get ammo or not?
I think it's 18.
I think it's
Yeah, I was gonna say
Unless
18.
you're at Walmart, they change that up.
They're like 25 now. They're just. Whoa.
Well, no, I don't know. It's 21 or something.
Walmart, you goof. I went to
They used
Walmart.
to have the best prices. Like I could get 100 rounds at 20 gauge. No, 12 gauge for $20.
Ooh.
Now, dude, hunting shot, $6 for 5 rounds.
Oh my.
I know
The
hunting shot
Biden
is
inflation,
expensive,
brother.
but insane.
The Biden inflation to bring politics in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Politics. That used to be one of the one things we weren't allowed to talk about on here.
Mm-hmm. We used to have that rule. We didn't, because we were young and naive, and we're like, you can't talk about age, you can't talk about politics, you can't talk about religion. And we
we've
now talk about all of
we've
those.
abandoned all of those.
We're like, I don't give a crap. I was too serious when I started this thing. I was like, okay, we have to do this and this, and we have to do this, and we have to have this, and we have to do this. And now I'm like, who needs microphones?
Politics.
We can just speak into my phone.
Joe Biden. So who'd you guys vote for?
Well,
Voting's a sin. I'm kidding.
I'm sorry. I'm a Baptist sinner.
I'm a Baptist sinner. Half Baptist. This is the funniest podcast on the world.
I'm a German Catholic hybrid.
Dustin is a full-blown German.
I
He's
don't know what
blonde
that
hair,
means,
blue
but-
eyes, German build,
Got that German mustache.
German mustache. He got Hitler stash. No, he does not have that.
Not quite.
Not quite. He could. He could
No.
just.
Are you
No.
guys like 99% German?
No,
Half German.
no. I'm
I don't
Swiss.
think I am American.
I'm American.
Okay, if you spit in the cup and then put your thing away, is it going to say you're probably like Swiss?
A little bit.
German?
I'm Swiss, a little bit Indian, and cool.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Keep telling yourself that.
I will. Thank you. I have a friend that's half Canadian, I guess. That's cool. I mean, Canadians are cool, I guess.
As long as you're
Sorry, how's it going?
politics.
Politics. Canadian,
Let's talk about Canadian politics.
No.
Who do they have running their country?
Jeff Bezos.
They have a tyrant.
A tyrant.
It's me.
His name
He's John Cena.
Mr. Trudeau.
Trudeau. Sounds like a dictator.
Yeah, actually.
Mr. Trudeau. Schwarzenegger.
Fortunate-
Schwarzenegger could definitely be your dictator. Mr. Schwarzenegger. It was funny because I have a friend that lives up in Canada, and we go there every once in a while, and it's just fun up there. Straight up just fun. If you don't to go all the way up there where politics doesn't matter, you go all the way up north, and you're like, wow, this is beautiful up here, and I don't care about politics. And then that's how I live my life.
Yeah.
Just
If you just
Trudeau.
if you just ignore it, it goes away.
Well,
It doesn't
hear
affect
it's
your problem.
You leave like the populace. Actually, that's anywhere, and then people are generally more common sense. And so I think it's the same in Canada, even though I'm super biased against their politics. And
Well, when you just make, isn't it like a felony to be homophobic? I think
oh yeah, there's so many dumb things there. It's just your mind should just melt.
it's illegal to take a bath with your horse in Indiana in the winter.
in the winter.
Yes, that's also just illegal to take a bath in the winter. It's technically a crime.
I don't believe that.
Look it up. It is a crime to take a bath in Indiana, or I think either LaGrange or Indiana. I'm pretty sure it's Indiana.
That's amazing.
It's one of those old time because you get frostbite. Back in the day, before they had heat, you get frostbite and you die, so it's illegal.
So if you bathe with your horse, it would give you frostbite.
If you, not if you bathe by yourself. If you bathe with your horse, that's just stupid. No, it wasn't with your horse. It was you bathe your horse
Oh,
That makes more sense.
Oh, it gives them frostbite, and
because you just kill your animals. That's not fun.
that makes sense.
So they're like, let's fix this completely. Outlawed, and that's how politics work. I wish politics were that simple. It's like, well, that kills people. It's only if it kills people. That's fine. Theft is fine as long as you don't kill people. Imagine if the only crime was murder. Tax fraud. Tax evasion is my middle name at this point.
I've been there, done that.
I only get paid in cash, so the IRS cannot track me. No, I'm kidding.
They will find you.
Oh no!
I'm
Maybe I
not
should be
gonna
saying
say
this on
I
a
did or
podcast.
didn't, but I think I actually know.
TJ committed
Never
tax
mind.
fraud. He filed his mom filed his taxes.
Not
wrong.
tax fraud, tax evasion.
Tax fraud. Actually, that's be considered tax fraud.
But I evaded the taxes.
No, but you got more than you're supposed to get back.
I didn't get like any back.
So you got less than you're supposed to get back. So you
I
get
don't know.
tax
I don't-
invasion.
Tax evasion.
Tax invasion. Okay, this is hilarious. I think tax invasion and evasion are two of the funniest things ever. Because taxes are stupid. Like 20% of my check goes to the government. I'm like, wow, I make a good amount of money, and then I get my check, and it's like 20% less than I made, and I'm like, that's bullcrap. I'm suing, and then I take America to court and I lose.
You know what is kind of crazy, mind blowing? The
What?
IRS, the whole tax thing, is actually a fairly new thing.
Yeah, it was only what was it like? I forget how long, but it's like it's a fairly new thing.
Yeah, it's a fairly new thing, and like before that was actually tax was the reason why the United States exists in the first place. You know, the Boston Tea Party,
Mhm.
they were all pissed off because the Brits were taxing tea.
Boston Tea Party. Gosh, I love my tea. There is.
Is that a racist joke?
Yep. It's a racist joke, TJ. What are you gonna do about it? Huh? You gonna cry? You gonna cry to your mom? No, but like, when the federal bank was founded, inflation went up by 31%, I think, in that like the next 10 years.
Yeah, it was totally.
Stupid. Like, I don't even know. Honestly, Bitcoin's not sounding that bad at this point.
Yeah, especially
Because you can't create more of it, then there's no inflation. I mean,
and like every other month I turn around, I'm like, you're spending how many $100 billion on thin air? Like they just passed 800 billion as of like Sunday. I'm like, Bitcoin sounds really good.
you don't see Bitcoin just creating more Bitcoin.
Not yet.
Well, that's why you. That's why you're supposed to. That's why you should have bought. Wait, imagine if you invested all your money into Bitcoin back in the day. So you have like, let's say you had $100,000 of Bitcoin back then when it was like 3 cents, and then now you times that by like $55,000.
You would honestly own the entire world. Share
You
at
would.
that
There's
point.
that's not. That's just an unreasonable amount of wealth.
Not unreasonable, just stupid.
Let's say you spent like $3,000 on Bitcoin when it was at like 3 cents. So you have like 10,000 Bitcoin. And then you times that by its current price, which or what at one point its was price was 55,000. And then you have, I don't know how to do math. You have like that's not how, I did not do the equation right, but you have an unholy amount of money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is, I don't like that noise. I'm gonna turn off that noise. You guys have a fun combination. Combination. Come on, guys.
So Matt, remember that one time we robbed that bank?
Uh-oh.
Oh, you guys
wow.
can't hear this.
That was a nice try. You know what I'm going to do?
Uh-oh.
I wonder how this thing will carry audio.
If you want to play audio from your phone, you mean? Or
If I play audio of my phone onto the mic.
it'd be fine.
What you got? What you got?
I'm back.
That Mustang with the LS swap.
Play it.
Video of it taken off.
I have your mic gain turned up a little bit, so you're going to want to keep it a little bit, not right up next to it.
Okay, so this is I think it's like a 96 Mustang
Was it like
with a Chevy LS in it. And
I'll put that, yeah.
probably like a 100mm turbo. I mean, that thing was
Oh.
massive.
That's not good.
And he gave me a ride, and he did rolling anti-leg. Started at 60 miles an hour.
I know what that is.
Just did like 60 to 130.
Well, it was in Mexico though, right? Yeah.
I don't want to tell you what.
Allegedly.
This was not me driving. This was some other guy. So let's see if it plays.
Because we are super, super high quality in here. If you need the Wi-Fi password, I can give you a Wi-Fi password so you can have
I'll need
Wi-Fi.
a Wi-Fi password because I don't have any service through this building.
The building is metal, meaning there's no service in it whatsoever.
The Schrock Gym.
Yeah. Let me figure this out, guys. This is the most interesting conversation I've ever had.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys, guys? So
I
basically,
was going for the Cowboys last year. Dak Prescott.
what? Can we talk about the case you have on your phone, Matt? I mean, not Matt. Gosh, James.
That is a huge phone.
That is no, it's not. It's not a huge phone. It's a huge case.
It's a huge case.
It's
So
a huge-
so like my screen, I cracked my screen and I have like 10% life, and I'm trying to hang on for dear life to every little bit of life that's left on it. So I got this like foot wide by 2 feet long.
Mega chungus case.
I like it's amazing. It's like there's some pants. If I had girls' pants, it would never fit in it.
It's like there's a massive, just absolutely massive brick.
It's literally held together by
phone.
like steel hex screws. It's amazing.
That thing could get ran over by a
Yeah.
forklift and it'd be fine. Speaking of getting ran over by forklifts, TJ, how's it going?
Hey,
Remember the time when you got ran over by a forklift, you loser? I'm very not degrading, guys.
my foot did, not me.
His foot did. I mean, for your foot is you objectively.
Objectively.
Objectively. What about dejectively?
That's a fair point.
So James, how's life at home?
Well, it depends on the day. Depends on the day.
February 2nd.
So some days, if I wake up early, get out of bed and just move, it's all good. If I give in to the momentary desire of sleeping in, and I sleep until like 8 o'clock,
Uh-oh.
you might as well just go back to bed and wait for the next day to try going again.
Uh-huh.
You failed. Gotta restart.
I've had those days where I hear my alarm and just like panic attack. I just get out of bed really fast. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even remember sleeping. I feel fine. I'm like, that's nice, and then I continue going about my day. And then every other day is just like, and that's how I feel the whole day. See, my day goes like, I wake up groggy. 9:30 comes around. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit better. Then midday, about 11, I'm like, ugh, I'm tired again. And then back to 1 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I feel fine again. And then at 1 o'clock to now, then 1 o'clock, and then 2:30, I go home like, I need a nap. And then I take a nap, and then sometimes I haven't been able to get my nap in recently because I've been too busy. But then after that, I'm like, okay, time to get back to work, and then I go to bed.
I've tried to stop taking naps after work
Why?
because then I'm not really tired when I need to go to bed, so I stay up too late, and then it's the whole cycle over again. So I need
Just
to
don't take naps. Just do something.
That's what I said. I've been
Just
trying not to do.
Just don't. It's not that hard. Just don't take a nap.
It must be nice to be able to take one.
I mean,
You
if you
me.
woke up when we did, I mean, you would make time for a nap.
I used to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning. My brain doesn't do that. It cannot take naps. I mean, I have to be like bizarrely tired, like stayed up for 3 days straight or
Just
something.
take
which I've never
sleepy
done.
Benadryl.
Like you just can't take naps.
No, I cannot. I physically cannot. My brain does not shut off until it's about dark out. It just does not shut off.
Did you know that when you wake up and then you get about, I think it's like 15 minutes of sunlight or about an hour of like indoor light, when that hits your skin, it starts off like it's like a chemical reaction in your brain, and then about like 10 to 12 hours, your brain starts recognizing that it's supposed to start like winding down. That's actually like a scientific thing. That's pretty cool. And so that's why you get. Like if you wake up and you go outside and you just sit outside for a little bit, and then like that will start your body clock, and then in about like 10 to 12 hours, you'll just get that natural release of sleeping chemicals, and you'll feel better, and you'll get more restful sleep. It's been scientifically proven. It's pretty cool. I think it's pretty interesting.
Works out pretty good for me because every morning I'm driving right into the sun, like
Blinded.
sun in my eyes
I'm blinded right into the sun.
for 20 minutes.
What direction does he go to work? Let's see. That would be east,
East, west,
I go
or
north-
south.
northeast.
northeast.
So you lied to us. You said directly into the sun.
Well,
That's
that is directly
up.
into the sun because the sun's right here. So it's like I'm going.
But you
north.
said northeast.
I'm going north, and the sun's in my eyes. Then I go east, and it's like right in front.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I wake up too early to get sunlight, and I'm sad.
Do you have any windows to at least see when it's becoming
No.
daylight?
It's called artificial.
I do.
Oh, Nick
You
would.
get in the building, and it's like
and
I have one.
if I look far enough, I can see it. But there's not a lot of windows, and it's really annoying.
and the
I mean,
fact-
it's actually kind of nice because then you just lose track of time. Like,
No.
if I could just,
See,
if I could just like not think about, if I'm just listening to my own thing and I'm just not thinking about any clocks or anything, and I just work, it's not that bad. But I rarely ever do that, and it's like if I'm listening to music while I work, time goes way faster, but it's less enjoyable. So I just stick to podcasts. I listen to about 7 to 8 hours a podcast a day.
Who's like your favorite?
There's a
Us.
bunch of different. Yeah,
I'm
us.
kidding.
I could only legally say us. There's a bunch of fun ones. I'm trying to think of them right now. I'm brain dead. I have to check my podcast now. There's a Dungeons and Dragons one that I like listening to. That's fun. There's a one called Story Break. I mean, if you're not, you should be a little bit older. I think they're not really nice, but like, they're a bunch of Hollywood directors, and they were Hollywood directors, and like, they weren't mega big, but like they had, and now they'll have like a cool idea, like they'll do like an episode where they'll have an hour, and they'll try to come up with a movie idea for like a certain topic. They did one about like why'd the chicken cross the road, and they did a movie. They came up with a movie about why did the chicken cross the road, and they try to like they did things back in the day. They did some stuff with Hulu and stuff, and like they're directors, and they do that stuff, and it's fun to listen to. I like listening to stuff, so I listen to all of that. And I'm like, dang it. And now I'm just scrounging at this point. Like I've listened to everything. I've listened to like it's not even. There's one podcast I listened
to every Joe Rogan one.
Yes, no, I'm kidding. I'm not a big guy. I just don't really care. Ben Shapiro though. No, I'm kidding. I don't like politics. But like, there's one podcast. It has I think like over 100 hours of listening content, and I've listened to it. I'm on my 7th one through, completely through, and I am sad inside. No.
I do not like podcasts. I do not like listening to that. I mean, I can maybe
Oh, the irony.
3 times every month, maybe. But I never listen to it. I don't. If I would, it's usually a crime one, a true crime thing. But
What about
about
false
it.
crime? Ever thought about that?
That's about it.
I went on a binge once, like I don't know, a few days of listening to like way too much Rogan, and then I'm like, I'm feeling smarter, but then I'm feeling dumber. So
I feel
what am I
smarter
doing?
and dumb. Like since I've been like I get noticed since I've been working for the past few years, I can tell that my vocabulary has incredibly increased, like in mega words, because I just listen to people talk all the time. I'm like, that's interesting.
It's about music.
There was one day when I first found my favorite podcast. It was a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and I listened to 11 episodes in one day, and they were all from 2 hours to an hour and a half long. I listened to that podcast from dusk till dawn, and more than that.
Do you have 2 hours of sleep?
No, it was. They were not all like they're like they expand. They range from like the first one was 2 hours, and the moment was like an hour and a half, and then so it was about. I think it was about 16 hours of listening, and it was intense, but it was so much fun. It was probably one of the most fun, like because we were re-shingling our gazebo, and I was like, man, I want to listen to something funny. And I just was looking around and like, what is this? And I started listening to it. It was amazing.
I've been trying to find a good podcast because I think if I find a good one, then maybe I'll like him. So if you have one you think I'll like,
ask Chandler. He has a lot of podcasts, but he probably already recommended you all the ones he listens to.
DM one to me.
There was one I would listen to today. Actually, it was not a podcast. It would be a audio series on Daily Wire. My mind is like blowing because I'm like I love history, especially like in the past 50 years history. And there's one in there that is just mind-blowing. It's insane. It's like better than watching a movie because it's like so intense. Like about
an audio
true
drama?
History. No, it's not audio drama. It's just
movies are pretty.
It's
intense.
a historical. What do you even call it? It's not a podcast.
It's a lecture.
Not a lecture either. It's kind of
It's a sermon.
its own thing. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's its own thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start listening to sermons. Todd White.
Yes.
Todd White, the guy with the big hair.
Yeah.
Oh man, that guy's got big hair.
That guy's got big hair,
Big
dude.
hair, dude.
Like that's intense. Like big hair vibes, dude. There was a podcast called No Worries If Not. So I went to homeschool convention in Cincinnati, the thing like 2 or 3 months ago, and they had this comedian on that like it was a really funny guy. I absolutely loved him. And he's like a Christian homeschooled comedian. I'm like, that's a great combination. And so he's just this guy, and he has a podcast called No Worries If Not. Very good podcast, very funny. And it's like it's just interesting and hilarious to listen to two comedians just talk about like their lives, and it's like two Christian comedians, and like it's interesting on their take. They had an episode where they did like a masculinity test where they had a bunch of questions where like about plumbing and stuff, and and like electricity, like
That's a
electrical
good
work.
idea.
It's like it's fun. TJ, take notes. Plumbing. It's very fun. I enjoy listening to podcasts. I enjoy making podcasts as well. My dream job, my absolute dream job, would probably just be content creation, like doing podcasts. I'm doing like cinematography work, directing. Like I just love that stuff. I'm taking photos. I don't know why, but I have to pick the most expensive hobbies in the world.
No, you don't. Believe me, you don't have the most expensive.
Name one more expensive than mine.
Golfing.
A lot more expensive. Motorsports.
How much do you spend on motorsports?
Oh, dude, you can put 100,000 in a motor. You can put 100 grand.
Okay, but like that's like on the one extreme end. Like
Then blow it up at one pass.
Yeah, literally, there's guys that do that.
that's fun.
It's mind blowing. It's like a black hole. It just
Is that your hobby?
well, it is kind of my hobby. but
Yeah, I was a
I'm
Bitcoin
not-
billionaire.
Nowhere, not even. I just like tinkering. That's yeah.
Mhm. My dream is to buy like an R1 or something, or like a engine of some sort, of smaller variety, and put it and build my own frame and make like a side-by-side type thing, like a sandcrawler thing, and like build my own suspension in it. I think that'd be super fun.
Dude, I got an idea.
You have an idea?
Marcos Yoder
Marcos?
and I have this idea. We've got to do this sometime.
Okay.
Find it.
Why'd you change your accent?
I have no idea, man. Sometimes when I do it, when I'm like thinking about
Mamma mia.
when I'm thinking about like my in-laws and stuff, like
Is-
Mexicans, I can.
Is that a
switch.
Mexican?
Anyway,
Oh, yeah, Mexican.
so anyway, my idea is to take like a crotch rocket that's wrecked, something whatever. Take the engine transmission out, weld up your little thing, and take an Amish buggy, rig it up, and then take it to like a parade and like popping wheelies with like the whole big spokes and everything.
Uh-huh.
It would actually be so easy to do. It'd be amazing, like just to totally trip out, and then like put has your hazard triangle on the back, so
Mhm.
you're technically legal, and then just go flying around buggies with like
You're
the
just
engines
Tokyo drifting.
screaming past the buggies with like
I feel like-
leave like the whole arms and everything in front, just randomly just sticking out there like ready to poke somebody. Be awesome.
Jousting.
I feel like a cop may have a problem with that.
no.
Nah, the cops are chill here.
And see, since it's not a motor vehicle, wait, dang it,
It is a motor vehicle.
I was gonna say since it wasn't a motor vehicle, you wouldn't need a license, but I
Just
guess
put
you
like a horse cardboard cutout or something.
do. It's like this is a horse.
This
What do you
is-
mean? Vroom vroom.
This is horse powered.
Yeah, I just had a couple hundred horses.
Stick a V8 in that.
So if you think about it,
Too heavy.
a 100 horsepower engine is literally just 100. Imagine 100 horses just pulling your engine. That's
not
technically
it
how that-
works. It's
Technically,
not. 1 horse is not equal 1 horsepower.
It's
Look it
close.
up. No, it's not.
ow.
It's
I think it takes 7.5 horses to make 1 horsepower. Or the other way around.
probably the other way around, yeah.
Or
but-
the other way around.
Well, it depends
14.
on the horse. You see, I don't know what horse are you gauging it by, like little shorty or like a Belgian,
Both.
because like they're so vastly different in their pulling power.
That is a fair point.
A Belgium is a V12, and then a little pony is a turbocharged V4.
No, a pony is just a V4.
It's interesting, like to look how Bugatti does it, like how they get their power. They have like a V16 and like V12 and some of those things, and they go for lower RPM. And then I think it's Pagani. They go for like a V6, but it's like they run at like I think it's like 6,800 RPM, which is absolutely monsterly
Like,
turbocharged.
I think it's like
stuff.
16,000. I think it's totally
like-
mind explodingly fast.
Yeah, it's like not even like physics. Never heard of it. How does something like that like be created? Like I don't think Ford man. What's his name?
Henry Ford.
Henry Ford, yeah.
Henry Ford. I don't-
Ford man.
Ford man. I don't think Henry Ford was envisioning like this cylinder moving at 16,000 RPMs when he was
you never
making
know.
it. He's probably envisioning it taking him to the moon.
He's the one that made it, dude. He just kept it a secret for
Vroom, 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 vroom.
a
I wonder
couple
how many
of years.
RPM. I wonder how efficient that first motor was.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's so terrible. Like Wright brothers, you know the guys who made the first airplane? They hand built their own in their garage with basic little machining tools, which is very amazing. Like they made everything for their engine, and it was like a wonder. It had like 20 horsepower, weighed like 500 pounds. It was just ridiculous.
It's incredible.
But yeah, they were so inefficient. It's embarrassing.
That's the only bad like electric.
that
Electric
gas
now,
motor.
like like people like electric is the future. They're like electric planes is so stupid because you have to have so much weight in batteries that you can't even
Solar power.
solar power.
Yeah.
What happens when there's clouds?
So a relative
You
of
go
mine,
above the clouds.
Small man.
You
relative
just
of
can't
mine,
drive at night.
and I had this whole argument about like electric vehicles and everything like that. And so he's like, well, we was talking about the previous political
Who was?
situation of
Who's this?
a relative of mine.
Oh.
And like there used to be lead in the gas and it was very toxic. A lot of people dying from lead poisoning and stuff. He's like, the government's actually good because like it regulated out the lead. I'm like, yeah, sure. Awesome. And it did help because the technology increased and stuff. And it's like, well, that's the same thing with electric cars. We need to like outlaw or, get rid of these terrible gas cars. And I'm like, well, the problem is like technology for batteries to have the same amount of power per pound of fuel is like embarrassing. So I'm like, when the technology is there, you don't have to incentivize nothing. People are all gonna buy electric everything. So like, there's all these subsidies, so people buy them.
Coffee machine. It's like, but what do you think about the Tesla Roadster? That's supposed to get like 2.1. Okay, that's fine. It's supposed to get like, what is it, 2.1, 0 to 60 in 2.1 seconds?
Something 2.9, yeah.
Probably something like that. Like it's like, and like higher top speed and everything than like the Bugatti and stuff, and it's like quarter the price. It's like, no. One thing I find is like, electric motors are so fascinating how they work. Like it's like, you know how those cars like Teslas and stuff like speed up? Like they have like their magnetic coil as like the wheelbase, and then the wheel is attached to like the outer metal part. I'm not a big scientist nerd. I don't know what I'm talking about, but and then like the faster they go, like it's like it pushes the wheel part, the spinny part is like out, like not on the thing, and how it speeds up is it goes closer and closer, and then more of it is in contact with the actual. It's kind of, you should like look up a video of it, but it's like it's just interesting how it accelerates. You just look it up. I'm not good at explaining things.
Mhm.
It's fun. It's fun. I think electric's cool.
Electric
Speaking
motor.
of Teslas, guy, I'm gonna be renting one in like a week and a half
That's
from
amazing.
now. It's
What
a
kind?
2022 Y
Gosh.
Performance.
Uh-oh.
Some of you renting it for a weekend. I'm pretty excited. It's got the full self-driving package.
Why?
Because I'm going to Mexico.
Oh,
It's like a
alright.
couple weeks.
Got to get the finest for the Mexico.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we're flying out. I'm getting my teeth worked on, and it's so expensive here in the States that it's way cheaper for me to go fly to like a border town in Mexico, and I'm using the Tesla as a rental in America, and then I'm going to cross the border and go to Mexico.
Thanks, America.
And it's like way cheaper, and I can eat really good tacos. So it's all-
Dude, there's a taco. You passed the taco place. No, did you? No, there's a taco place right down the road here. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good tacos. Only open on Saturdays though. But it's
are
pretty
they Latinos that are running it or no?
good. Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
totally Latino. All you guys is Spanish.
Mexican.
there's one. I think the manager is not, but like I think I'm pretty sure there's like a bunch of. It's like a Mexican family. They have like 3 or 4 families living there, and they have a taco shack. It's pretty good.
Nice.
I got some steak tacos the other day. It was really amazing. Mm-hmm.
I'm getting hungry for some poblanos, tacos de bistec y todo de ese, man.
You're a real
I
Mexican.
agree. Are you though?
I don't know.
Well, I'm confused at what my culture is, man. I got everything in there.
Am I Mexican, American, Canadian, German, Russian? Who knows at this point?
So
Brazilian.
I was born in Chicago in a hood,
Oh, wow.
all Mexican hood. Okay, so close to the Cook County Jail, and so it's like totally Latino. And so we were actually known as like the white family, like where we were. So we moved out of there. So I had Latin influence and everything. That's what I remember growing up, a little bit of stuff. And then we moved to Indiana, and we moved to a little farm, and then we had we went to a church, which was a big reason why we moved out, was like different church stuff. And there were like all ex-Whistler Mennonites and Beachies, it's all kind of mixed up in the same place. And so that got really confusing because I'm like, all this another culture. And then after that, things kind of got weird at that church. So we ended up leaving, and we didn't know where to go. So there was a Baptist church across the field from our house. So we would like walk through the cornfield and go to the Baptist church. And in that time, they had like bus routes, and they would pick up with the kids and knock on doors and get them to come to church and all that. And so my parents ended up learning there's lots of Latinos around. So we helped start a Hispanic church. And so for years and years, I went to a Hispanic church my parents helped start. And so I don't know, culture-wise, man, I got
Everything.
Mennonite.
You got the whole package. You got the deluxe deal.
I get everything, man.
The 4-in-1 deal.
The 4-in-1 deal. So Matt, what do you do for fun, Matt? Explain to me
Yeah, I
this.
do a lot of different things, and it changes over time. Like,
Same.
it's never been the same thing. But currently, right now, I like hanging out with my friends, doing stuff. I like playing sports, and I've been doing a lot of dirt bike riding
Oh,
recently.
that's
so-
something I would love to get into. Fun story. One time, my uncle, he went dirt biking for the first time. He was taking it slow around the course. He was just, he wasn't wearing a helmet because he wasn't going real fast. So he was just going around, and everyone said, like, okay, guys, time to leave. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go around. Like, now that I'm comfortable, I'm going to go around one last time. I'm going to go pretty fast. And he was going, and he went off a jump, and he landed a little bit weird, and then he tried to overcorrect, and he overcorrected, and went off the next ramp into a tree and broke his neck.
They kill him.
No, he's alive.
Was he like paralyzed, or did
It-
it didn't
they-
do that much damage?
It apparently didn't do that much damage, but he broke some vertebrae, and then the bike landed on him, and then it just burnt his leg. Like, ooh,
Which uncle is this?
not your uncle. It's
I mean,
Loy.
I know it was my uncle, but I thought maybe I'd know.
Loy. He's a doctor.
I was racing.
No, not a
I was
physical
racing one of my
therapist.
friends yesterday evening through the woods and a bunch of these trails, and he had a little go kart, a really little go kart. And it's got like this 3-speed transmission with like the shift lever, like.
Oh, that's sick.
And it was like a close race because, like, whenever it straightened out a little bit, I could just my bike was faster. His top speed was like 40, and my top speed was like 70. But whenever he get in a straight one, I'd catch back up with him. And then the curves, just these little tight curves, he's just like drifting around all the curves. and then I was trying to keep up, but like I had to like drop my foot down to catch myself because I kept like wiping out.
Did he build this
drifting
go-kart?
around the corners?
Did he build it or did he buy it?
He bought it. I actually helped him get it going, put a motor in it. I got the motor for it.
Yeah, I wanna build a fancy go kart. You know, I just wanna go. I don't go fast, man. I wanna go fast.
I know. I'll buy a car, then just take everything off, take the doors off, and just have it open.
That's actually really a very
Open air
easy way
car.
of doing it. Yes, definitely.
Get the smallest car possible.
Get like
And then soup up
old
the
Honda Civic and just take a Sawzall and cut.
soup off the sand.
That'd be
Dude,
fun.
we should do
actually.
that.
Dude,
You can
we
get
should've
like a-
kept my dad's old Civic,
Yeah, we could have got that thing for free,
1991. No, he sold it for like a couple hundred,
like 500.
400, 300. I think it's 250.
I know, but like he wouldn't have sold. He would have given it to us because we're nice, right?
I don't know.
Well, he would have because I would have threatened him. No,
Well, he would have given it to me, and I would have used it, and you would have maybe been able to use it.
thanks a lot, TJ. Does your friendship mean nothing?
I thought I'd let you use it. Maybe.
Okay, I'm okay then. Yeah, but like, it's way. It's honestly way cheaper to just buy a stinking car or like an old Jeep and make it like a side by side or something. Than buy a side by side. They're so stinking expensive.
Oh man, they are. Yeah.
They're like 20-something grand. I'm like, no, I can buy a brand new Civic
Yeah,
for
but I
that
feel
much.
like there's gonna be a little bit things different. Side by side is probably gonna do better on like out off road than a Civic is.
When did I ask? No, I'm kidding. Like, yeah, there's that aspect, but like, no, no.
Unless it rains,
You can buy.
that might- I don't know.
They make there's this company, I forget what it's called, but they make a 4-wheeler. It's a 1,000cc 4-wheeler. And I want it because that'd be cool, but it's $17,000 for a 4-wheeler. $17,000. What for? How do they stay in business? Like,
because
Tax fraud.
jeez,
tax evasion.
that's my business plan. That's what the podcast does. Legally, I have to disclaim that we do tax fraud because we make an income.
not necessarily.
So much of an income.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, $17,000 for a 4-wheeler, dude. If I had $17,000 to throw at a toy, I could make some seriously sick toys. Like,
Not a
What I do is I get like I'll probably get a go-kart chassis and then get like a 1,000cc crotch rocket engine,
Mm-hmm.
drop it in the back.
No, 2 of them, one for each wheel, so you can turn. That's my logic. I mean, it'd work.
But
Not very
both.
well, but it'd work.
No, it works really well to put a crotch rocket engine in because they've got, you get one with the chain drive, and all you just put a straight axle on your back, put your sprocket on there, and then you've got your full transmission, all your gears, everything,
That'd be
and
kind
they're
of fun.
wicked fast.
Want to build me one? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll build
There's
you
a
one
channel I
for
watch on YouTube,
$1 billion.
Boys. But he put a crotch rocket engine on a golf cart, and it like I think it did a quarter mile, like 110 miles an hour, and it was like popping wheelies half of the way.
We're,
Like, there
Of course, he
is
turboed it too.
there is this guy who took like those drift go karts, and he put an R1 engine, which is like an incredibly fast crotch rocket engine, on there, and he did like, I forget what it was, like 120 or something, just on this little drift go kart with no roll cage or anything. It's just like, wee, and it's terrifying. And I wanted to do it. I want to do it so bad. I want more money, please. Anyone? I'm taking donations. Go donate to my GoFundMe. Going to build a fast go kart.
so you want to hear some funny car stories?
Uh-oh.
Should I go there?
Yes.
Okay, so we were just talking about dirt bikes. It kind of reminded me. So growing up, I was like pretty well broke. By the time I finished high school, I had, I think, around, what was it, $200 or $300 to my name. So not much at all.
More
But
than
I
I had.
had bought a basket case dirt bike that I literally was a crates full of parts. And so I kind of figured out how to put this where and this where. I had no idea what I was doing. I put it together wrong and broke it, but I got it to kind of run. I ended up selling it for like $1,000.
Gosh.
So I was super tickled. But that was right when I had my license, and I finished high school, and I was ready to, get on with life and get a car, be independent, get myself a good job, and pay me some money. So yeah, I got my first car. First car I ever got was so sketchy. I bought it at a junkyard it looked like something out of a movie. It was amazing. Like, yeah, but they had this little beat up old Civic. And I first bought it, I didn't know nothing about cars. I mean, I knew that they drove and they made sound.
Usually.
They had spark plugs. I mean, not much.
Wow.
So, bought the car, and I got onto it. It was my first car. I'm like, dude, this thing's awesome. It was like a 95 Civic. And unbeknownst to me, somebody had done like complete engine, transmission, everything swap from a totally different kind of car in that car. And so I was like, man, this thing's awesome and everything. It's a B-Series Honda. It was a conversion from a different car. And so I'm Googling my phone. I'm like, oh, man. And I had like the first generation smartphone.
BlackBerry.
Yeah, whatever it was, first generation Android. And I'm like, you type it in, you kind of wait and hope your 3G kind of kicks in. And yeah, so I piece by piece got like, okay, this engine I have, guys, turbo it, man. They make like a bajillion horsepower. Oh, this is awesome. So I went on eBay right away and I'm like, I'll put a turbo on this thing, man. It's going to be awesome. So I didn't know anything about how the engines really worked other than gas goes in, goes bang, and makes it go.
Whoa.
And so my parents had like this shop, and they had metal cutters and welders and...
What do your parents do?
Well, they would just do whatever. It was like a barn. So, yeah, in their barn. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to put turbo on this thing. So my one brother and I, we decided we're going to turbo this thing. And so we welded this whole thing up. And we got a little $80. I was broke, so I worked at Sweet Corn Charlie's. I mean, I'm pulling in like $300 a week. I'm like, man, money, So I like saved up, and I'm paying for gas and insurance, and then a little bit left over. I'd scrape my pennies for my car. And so I put this turbo on, $80 turbo, which turbos, if you want a good one, they're like $2,000. So this was the ultimate piece of junk eBay turbo. I weld this thing on, everything. I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. It's like all YouTube videos, man. It's going to be like all YouTube videos, guys, street racing. It's going to be awesome. So I go out there. We got it all welded up, took off, and that thing had power, man. That thing was fast. But it lasted literally about 1.5 miles, 2 miles. And it was just, boom. And I'm like, oh, what in the...
Uh-oh.
So I come home and I start Googling, oh, you're supposed to do like a lot more than just put a turbo on. There's like whole systems you have to redo because the engine's not made to handle a turbo. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to fix it. So I ended up tearing this whole thing down. I still didn't learn my lesson. I still tried doing the cheapskate. I rebuilt the whole thing ground up, whole engine.
Ooh.
And I had never done anything like this before. It was totally terrifying. So I rebuilt the whole thing. And I still skimped out because I'm a cheapskate.
Same.
And I'm like, well, I just probably didn't do this one thing right, whatever. It was just chance or whatever. I blew that engine up again. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So the third try, I finally figured out, I need to do all this other stuff. So I ended up saving money. And I kind of got it running. So cars are kind of complicated when you do more fancy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have more fuel with more air from your turbo, blah, blah. I tried tuning the things with a laptop computer. So I plug in a USB cable and stuff to my car, and I'd be, on the laptop trying to figure. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. So I got that thing running. I don't know how. Anything like plap, 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 plap. It's the Honda Civic going plap, 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 boom, boom, boom. It was amazing. So, but that thing would notoriously just die. I couldn't figure out on the laptop how I can make this thing work right. So, I need to go to work though. I was using my parents' minivan. And the thing had like 300,000 miles on it, and like the battery would drain. So I put this whole wiring thing where I could cut the power so it wouldn't battery drain. It was just a nightmare. So I'm like, I wanted my car going. Got it going, and it just barely running. And I was working at the same place that Matt was, where he is now. And so I would be driving every day, and it's the middle of Amish country. And I did a lot of funny things with the Amish with that car. It was amazing.
Uh-oh.
So one thing I learned on this car, I'd be able to like shut the engine off while I'm driving, which is really not a great idea because you kind of could lock up your...
On our old Civic, my dad used to do that.
But you could shut the thing off while you're driving, and I figured out it had like custom exhaust. I shut the thing off and then floor it with the engine off, not running.
Uh-oh.
And it would somehow change the mixture of the gas, and now turn it back on, and it would go boom, like a shotgun, just insanely loud explosion. So I had like... I come by these buggies, and then I'd be like prepping, shut the engine off, do a little thing, and right as I come past, bam, and that horse would just go everywhere, just
so
freaking them out. I had a lot of Amish that hated that car so bad.
You
But
sound like Thomas.
So one time coming back from work, I get to like close to a stop site and my car's barely running. And I just started living with it because I didn't know how to fix it. And my starter evidently went out right then. And I had a buggy behind me and I'm waiting to cross 13 and I could not start it. And so these Amish are wondering what's going on. They're afraid to pass me because of the traffic. And I'm like, hey guys, and actually no, I put it in neutral and started pushing it backwards because I was like, I could push start it. So if I put it in gear and pop the clutch and all that, and I can maybe get it to fire up. So the buggy saw I was pushing it backwards. So 2 guys jump out of the buggy, and the Amish house right beside me, the Amish guy comes out of that house. So I had 3 Amish guys pushing this car backwards away from the intersection. They're backing their horse up. And so I had 3 Amish guys shoving my car down the road, trying to get it to start. It was so retarded. And it was just like, oh, man. And I had been doing all that dumb stuff with
Bro,
scaring
just an
Amish.
interjection. I had an Amish kid help me jumpstart my Acura just a week and a half ago.
Push start it?
Push start it.
No
I had a
way.
dead battery. But it was in the BP gas station by Topeka. It was in the parking lot. At least it wasn't on the road. I turned it off because I overheated it because I passed somebody going way, way, way too fast.
Uh-oh.
And
Allegedly.
I had to let it cool
That's
down.
okay.
And when I turned it off for it to cool down, it didn't turn back on.
Uh-oh. The worst car trouble I've ever had. Yeah, I have never had car trouble. I've only been driving for like 6 months, but that's fine. One time we were driving, I forget where, and the wheel fell off.
Oh my!
Completely just fell off.
Pretty interesting.
I think that was a bus. There was like 12 of us in the bus, and we had been going up and down the mountains in Montana, and a wheel just fell off. All the lugs sheared and just
Who needs wheels on a
You even
car
need a wheel these days.
these days?
oh my goodness, that was a crazy trip. Like, it was me and my brother and 2 of my sisters, and then some friends from Fort Wayne, and we took this bus out to Montana. We literally broke down so many times, like probably at least a dozen times. We're sitting on the side of the road, and like by the end, like everyone just got rental cars and went back, and me and John and Amos Ash stayed back to try to bring the thing back. We never ended up getting it back that time.
It's still
we ended up
sitting there
getting in an
somewhere.
airplane coming back. But anyways, like the tires fell off, all the lug nuts sheared off, so we had to like. My uncle lives out there, so he was able to come from a couple hours away and help us get the lug bolts around and get it fixed. And then we're like, okay, we're good. And we're driving, and we're like in the most remote county of Montana. It's like just east of the mountain range. It's kind of a deserty area. And we were like, on this road, there's like nobody for miles and miles and miles. No cars on the road. And the transmission broke, like the rear differential. And we're stuck there, and it was 4th of July, so we're like, shoot, we're stuck here, and nobody's going to answer because it's the 4th. Anyways, long story short of it, we got a hold of some random guy, and he was going to pull it with his truck. And he's pulling it back, and we got all the way back, and we're just starting to pull it into his driveway. And literally the back axle broke, and the whole dually just turned up sideways like that. It was insane.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That poor van.
It was like a 2003 Ford.
It was like a shuttle van, like they have it. You know.
Yeah, bus thing.
Yeah, it's like a Ford van in the front and bus in the back.
Interesting.
We did a fix. We fixed a radiator line with a mosquito spray bottle. And what do you call it?
Saran wrap?
No, wrap like for a
Like
medical
injury?
wrap. Medical wrap.
Using metal.
Yeah. We had a little bit of duct tape and a bunch of medical wrap. So we got this mosquito spray bottle, and they got like a pocket knife. And the mosquito spray bottles are kind of thick, so they're kind of hard to cut. But we managed to cut the ends of it off with the pocket knife, and then we because the radiator pipe just like split down just like a length of it, and we had no way of nobody was answering and stuff. Anyways, we literally just wrapped that medical tape around there, and
How far did you go?
we go like a couple miles and then start overheating. We'd stop, let it cool down, refill it up with water, and we ended up using all our water.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
It's crazy.
That's terrible.
That seems fun. I want to do that. TJ, let's go take an old car. Let's just take my Subaru. It'll probably break down.
Oh, dude, okay, this bus. I wasn't on this trip. I almost went, but I heard nightmares about it, and I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't go on the trip. But this bus, I don't know. It had some Indian curse on it, man. And seriously, the thing, it's supposed to have like the most reliable engine Ford ever had in it, whatever it was, diesel and everything. Yeah, that thing was a nightmare. So the previous, was it 2 years previous to that? So my one brother, John, he had bought this bus for cheap, blah, blah. We're doing cool trips as a family. So my wife and I just got engaged, and we went on a family trip together. And we went down to North Carolina or something like that. We took this bus. And so en route, we just punch in the GPS. And this is a like 27-foot long bus, okay? So going on this trip, just punch in the GPS. And when you have a big vehicle, you got to make sure you don't go on too small of a road. So you just punch in the GPS and go on. We get to, where is that? North Carolina, somewhere out east. I didn't pay attention.
I think it was like North Carolina.
There's a road where a lot of guys street race. It's called Tail of the Dragon. There's like 100, 200 curves in like 10 miles. So it's guys will go there with like their exotics and sport bikes, and they'll rip on it. The cops don't touch them because there's no houses, there's no intersections, there's nothing. And so if you die, it's on you, and they'll go clean up the mess. Well,
Sounds like a good job to
we didn't know nothing. We were just on the GPS. And it took us on this route with this honking bus. And it's up in the mountains, and we're doing this the whole time. And it had a length limit sign before we got on there, and we were within, I think, a foot. So we're like on these switchbacks, and like the bus is almost going over the edge of like precipices the whole time.
Yeah, it was like almost straddling. It was crazy.
It was.
It almost looked like it was like going to cross over the gap,
Oh, we had no idea this was like a motorsports destination. So we're driving this thing, and we're about halfway through, and there's guys in Porsches and every kind of exotic you could imagine behind us, and we're slowing traffic because we're a big bus. And so we pull off to the side. There was like a little, look at the creek, pull off.
Mm-hmm.
There's a creek on that side. We pull off there, and all these, cars flying by, and we were like, okay, we got to keep going. Put it back in drive, and it was gone. There was nothing.
Actually, we coasted to that spot, if you remember correctly.
Well, no.
Yeah, we coasted up to that spot because it's having trouble, and so we stopped, and then there was nothing left.
Well, he initially pulled off to let these guys by. Anyway, the thing got so hot from going up the mountains and stuff that the transmission puked. And not just puked, it literally threw up all the oil onto the road. There was a trail of oil behind us as far as you could see. And so all these guys in their, R1s and everything are, curving, just taking these things. And we had just oil slicked the road like Mario Kart, man.
And then you kill 16 people.
Like, I don't know how many people could have died. But yeah, we broke down there. We stayed overnight on the Tail of the Dragon. That bus, man, I hated that thing by then. I was just like...
I want to go there and take pictures now because I love taking pictures of cars.
Dude, when we were trying to find out what was wrong with it, I was like underneath the bus, and I was right up by the muffler or something, but something happened where I think my head touched the muffler, and it was really hot, and there's like this much room. So I touched the muffler, and I went, bam! And I slammed my head on the ground. And when that happened, I went back up really hard.
You did back into it.
I did a double bounce, man. It was terrible. You got like this lump on both sides of my head.
That sounds
was a bad
interesting.
day. That was a bad day.
Yeah, and it was, and he was telling a little story. I don't know what happened on this trip. It was at the same weekend. It was 4th of July, so nobody was open, and so we were stranded there. It was a disaster, man. So anyway,
Sounds like a good time. Well,
Made memories. Like if we had taken that trip and nothing happened, I would barely even remember the trip today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it's like it really stinks.
It's the difficulties that we remember.
But we also remember good times.
No.
Usually.
Name one good time you've had.
All of them.
Now name one bad time you've had.
None
This
of them.
conversation. Shut up, TJ. I'm such a nice guy. Okay, well, we've reached the time. If you guys want to stop now, we can. If you guys are okay with stopping, we can. If you guys want to keep talking, we're gonna stop now.
Okay.
No.
Goodbye.
Well,
No, I'm kidding.
Are you guys done? Okay. Thank you guys for listening to the Lemon Drops podcast. Thank you for bearing with us This was super interesting, and I know you were engaged the whole entire time. We love you guys.
Goodbye.
Patreon.com/Lumberjobs Podcast. I mean, so much cool stuff there. $3 a month. I don't know.
Dude, it's a cup of coffee, man.
Yeah, that's less than a cup of coffee. I
And
spent
that's a
$7 on a cup of coffee the other day. I was
That's a month.
retarded. And
It's an investment.
yeah, that's a long-term investment. Just think, like that's less than Netflix, and we have what better things on than Netflix.
Yeah, we have way
obviously.
more.
Way better
Collection.
content, man.
way better collection,
content.
way more stuff. Like, like yeah, and we have Instagram, the Lumberjobs Podcast on Instagram, and we have merchandise. Pretty cool merchandise, I'd say. You were supposed to get some. I didn't get you any, so we'll get you some merchandise. We have merchandise. Email us or preferably on the Instagram account at the Lumberjobs Podcast. So you
DM
can just be cool, I guess. That's cool. Thank you for listening, and
Goodbye.
goodbye. You know what we say. TTFN.
Tater tots for now.
Tater tots for now. Okay, bye.